What's up, everybody? Welcome to We're All Geeks. I am one of your hosts, Kenny. Alongside me today,
I'm Felipe. You sprung that on me. I wasn't ready.
That's the
way
point.
we do it.
That is the point. I don't want you to be prepared. But prepare for some fun stuff. We do have to talk about the new Overwatch and Diablo, which is announced at Blizzcon. We do have a lot to talk about. Let's start with, as of recording this, just broke today. Shuhei Yoshida is now going to be in charge of the indie developers for, or indie relations, I should say, because, you know, they're not buying indie developers because that would just be worldwide. Yeah. Anyways, he is going to be working with the indie developers now, and Herman Hulst from Guerrilla Games is taking over as the head of Worldwide Studios.
Quite the shakeup.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. That's a lot.
Like, Shu has been one of the guys at Sony that is a name. Like, you know Shu immediately. Shu, in case you didn't know, he is best known at this point for being in the video with about
whatever. What's his name?
I know his name.
Adam
Boyce.
Adam Boyce.
He was in that with Adam Boyce where they demonstrated how you lend a PlayStation game to somebody, and it was just fantastic.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
That's one of his best known works. He has also just been one of the driving forces behind Sony for many, many years. Steered them out of the PS3 era. He was still in charge during the PS3 era, but he's done some incredible things. The indie side is very, very lucky to have him.
Right.
Very excited for that. I do want to turn to his replacement, Herman Hulst. So Herman Hulst was one of the heads of Guerrilla Games. So, of course, Killzone and then Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. And he is very clearly, in my opinion, a talented executive, and I think this is not a bad thing at all. To go from, say what you want about Killzone, they were known as the Killzone studio.
Right.
They were the Killzone guys. And then to be able to go to your bosses, not only go to your bosses and say, hey, I know we normally do the first-person shooter thing, but what if
let's try something else.
Open world third person?
Yeah.
And it worked brilliantly. It was a great move. And he not only convinced Sony executives, but then convinced everyone else that that's what they should be doing. We've had rumors flying of Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or Horizon First Dusk, whatever they end up calling it. But what's your read on this, man?
I mean, I'm excited. Not all shakeups are bad shakeups. You know, like I'm excited to see how either one of them will do on their new roles. Like you were saying about Guerrilla Games, they did first-person shooters for a while, and then they completely switched over from a modern, so to speak, first-person shooter to now like a big open-world RPG. Right. Like that's quite I won't say the opposite, but it's a diversion for sure.
It was like 343 over at Microsoft saying, "Hey, Halo's all good and all." On a different level, because Killzone was never Halo.
Yeah, never.
It never was, but it's them saying, we like Halo, but we want to crack at the next Fable.
Right.
Like that.
That's exactly correct. So we'll see. What I take from that is he's a man that I think can understand vision. Can see like, okay, see the potential of, not because a studio has been doing just the one thing, or not because. Even taking studios out of it, like, because Sony in general or whatever, like, we've been doing this one thing, that doesn't mean we can't try something else, or we can like shake it up. So I'm excited, and Shu is great. Every interaction that I've seen him have with like the press and with other video game journalists, and even with the public, he's always super, like, hey, Shu, work on getting this one game. We want this game on the PlayStation or whatever. Like he kind of. He's one of the few executives that I feel like the community has this rapport with, where they'll talk to him, or they'll tweet at him, or they'll do whatever, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'll look into it.
There's legendary stories about him. My favorite is apparently a couple months before God of War shipped, it was in a bad state, and Cory Barlog put in a call and said, "Hey, can you come play our game?" And he was like, "Yeah, this isn't right," So he and that became one of my favorite games of all time. So Shu doing indies is, like I said, a great get for the indie community, and I have no doubt this means Sony is going to. They already have been acknowledging indies as a lifeblood of the industry for so long. Like, that's one of the things at PS4 launch that they really committed to is we're gonna have the indies. We're gonna come hard with like out of the gate they had. They made Matterfall and
Journey.
no, well, not Journey, but yes, Journey, but Resogun.
Right. Yes.
Like,
yes.
that was a PS Plus launch game, and it was like the best game on PS4 at the time, and they gave it away for free. Did this contract with them, and so it's exciting. It's been a lot of shakeup at Sony. Period. Like, Gio Corsi left this week, also, I believe, who he was really the driving force behind the Vita for a while there, and he's moving on. John Drake, he moved on to Disney. Like, there's been so much shakeup, and John Drake, one of the architects behind getting the Spider-Man game done. I'm sure there's a million people, but he was one of those guys in that room. So much change.
But now's the time. Now's the time for that to happen. With they finally said a new console, PS5 coming out next year. Like, now is the time to really get those pieces moving. Right. So then you don't have to worry about this stuff when all their focus is going to be on the new console. Yeah. So I'm excited to see, for sure.
Yep, good times all around.
Always.
Times all around. Next, let's dive into this BlizzCon stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna put aside everything else besides the games for this.
Okay.
We're only gonna talk about games. We're not gonna talk about any apologies that might have happened at BlizzCon or anything.
Yeah.
Like that.
No. Yeah. That's. And you and I, I guess I want to touch on it for a brief second for people. Like, you and I, whenever we do one of these shows, there's always, or whenever there's been some sort of controversy, or there's been, something that happened. It's not that we don't want to address it. I feel like
we want to give it the gravitas.
Yeah, and we for a lot of times, I don't know that we can really speak too much of it. So that's why, we both have opinions on it. But this show, I like, not that we don't want to acknowledge it, but for the most part, it's like we want to have fun. We want to talk about the games and stuff like that. And there's, I think, better places to articulate.
Right, that
stuff. So
that's kind of our policy going forward. Is if we're not going to dedicate a whole show to it, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So now with that out of the way,
right. So let's talk games.
Let's start with alphabetically Diablo 4.
Okay. So Diablo 4. Well, first of all, before I even get to that, like this, I think outside of the BlizzCon where they announced, like, I think Wrath of the Lich King or something, this has probably been the best BlizzCon when it comes to announcements. Diablo 4 returned to form. They kept going back to the fact that it's weird from almost everything that I saw when they talk about Diablo 4. They never really mentioned Diablo 3. They always mention Diablo 2.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, it's by no means is Diablo 3 like a failure.
Yeah, Diablo 3 is a fantastic game.
It's amazing, but then and it's huge. Obviously, they've done really great expansions for it. They successfully transferred it to console. Like, there's a lot of great things going on with Diablo 3, and they're just like, that didn't happen. But let's talk about Diablo 2.
Right. It's just, again, it's the weirdest thing. I know Diablo 3 had a very rocky launch, and he had the, real money auction house. There was like all these things that
there were some missteps.
They've tried some stuff and it didn't work out, but in Blizzard fashion, they're like, you know what? This doesn't work. So we scrapped it. And now we're just doing this. And I think, Diablo 3 is a fantastic game. But I know that at first, a lot of people, they didn't like the look of Diablo 3. They were too bright or too colorful, whatever, and they really apparently took that to heart. This is a return to form, very much a horror-inspired game. If you've seen the trailer, the announcement trailer, and even the gameplay trailer, a lot of blood and gore and violence. It looks like a Diablo game. They're doing a lot of very interesting changes. Some stuff that they haven't talked about yet. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to respec your class. If they're going that far back of you level up a character and you put your points in because there's going to be points when you level up and stuff like that. I don't know if it's you get locked into it like Diablo 2 where you have to kind of pre-make a build and then as you play you do that. But it looks fantastic. They've announced 3 classes: Barbarian, the Sorceress, and the Druid.
Right.
That's it. There's going to be 5 classes. They did announce that it's coming PC, Xbox One, and PS4. They mentioned that specifically, and it has me wondering. I mean, they said it's not going to come out anytime soon, but they specifically mentioned.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Overwatch.
Yeah.
They specifically mentioned the current gen consoles, but it doesn't seem like it's coming out in the next year.
Yeah.
So it's either got to be cross-gen or it comes out next year or something, but
at least PS4, and I'm sure the Xbox will be the same way. They're probably going to be, backwards compatible.
Like
so,
Xbox went on that thing where everything's going to be forward compatible. Everything is going to work on everything from here on out. So yeah, in theory, it's going to be able to run there, but
I could see, as the reason why they said that, but like information is out there. I could see, they could have said if this game is 2 years out, 3 years out, PC, next generation consoles. They could have said that, but because they specifically mentioned the current gen consoles, I don't know, holiday next year.
Yeah, that was a weird choice there.
But but then I was at first thinking that would be the case, but everything they said, oh yeah, I think that the game director for Diablo 4 said like it's coming soon, but not even like Blizzard soon. It's just
yeah, Blizzard,
whenever.
Yeah, Blizzard soon, and there was so much pushback last year. Like last year's BlizzCon was so bad because everyone thought we were getting Diablo 4, and
then we got the phone game.
Yeah, Diablo Immortal.
I think so. Yeah.
Call it.
They didn't even touch on that game at all during the opening ceremony. They eventually released like some information, like, "Oh yeah, we're still working on this Diablo game."
You remember the last thing, our closer last year?
Yeah.
At BlizzCon. And then let's get to the other one that I think I'm more excited about: Overwatch 2.
Overwatch 2.
The big thing is PvE.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. The big difference between Diablo 3 and 4 is, like, you can clearly see, like, it looks very different. I think Diablo 4 looks fantastic. Everything they've shown about Diablo or Overwatch 2 looks the same. It looks like almost Overwatch. It could have been a patch.
Well, and the thing is that Overwatch 1 is getting everything that Overwatch 2 is getting besides PvE. At least they said they're getting the maps for sure. I don't know if they're getting the new mode, and I don't think they're getting PvE, and I believe they said characters, but I don't know for sure.
And that's the thing, is they haven't been too clear on that. I know that they've said, like, the maps are coming to the first Overwatch. The cool thing is everything that you've unlocked for Overwatch 1 carries over to Overwatch 2. So that's great, all the skins and everything, if you spend money on it or not, if you just, had to grind some of the events to get it. That's awesome. That all carries over to number 2.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, let me start by saying I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, I am.
I've more than once, you and I have talked about how I love everything about Overwatch except the game.
Yeah.
But it's mostly because I'm not a huge multiplayer guy.
Yeah.
But with the doing more PvE stuff, I want to know what's going on in the world of Overwatch for sure.
It's Overwatch has the best lore that is not in the game. Like it's the poster child for lore. Like, hey, we're not going to explain anything in the game, but if you go to these resources outside of it, like, there's this beautiful, rich world. Like, those shorts are like
fantastic.
They're must see YouTube at this point. Like,
they're like the Pixar quality, like a video, and there's enough of them now that you put together like an hour and a half long like cutscene of all the intro to all the characters. This new one that they've done for the Overwatch 2. It's just there's some changes. Characters are getting updated. The characters can level up. On the PvE side of things,
Genji has a new look and
a lot of characters are going to have new looks.
I think Zenyatta looks a little bit different in there. I was a Zen player the couple times I played, so
there's at least a new character coming for sure. God, I forget her name.
I forget her name as well. She's an AI robot, if I remember right.
No, so there's the other one. So there's the Echo is the one that
Echo,
you're thinking
yes.
of, flying around, that you see on like McCree's cinematic. I can only assume she's coming to the game, but the one that they did announce is the other one. It's like that lady with the she has like a robot arm and stuff like that. I forget her name. She shows up very briefly in the trailer.
Okay.
God, I forget her name.
I like the Overwatch lore. I'm not deep enough to probably.
Yeah,
know.
I just don't remember her name.
Yeah.
You know, I apologize. It's just she showed up briefly. They talked about her, but
Y'all have Google.
yeah, you know, you know this. What do you know this?
Tell us in the comments.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the new modes, the new PvP modes. Also, the few times that I do play, I do like it. I just don't have enough time to really devote myself to a multiplayer game. So every time I play for a bit, I have some fun. But then I get my butt handed to me too many times because people that play this way more than I do. So then I dip out. But I'm excited to know about the lore, doing all, seeing how much more I can get out of it. They're going to do story missions, so they're going to be doing like a level up. They're changing character skills to be more PvE centric. So again, it all looks awesome.
It does. I'm super excited. I want to go back a little bit. What do you think this does mean for Overwatch 1? It does. So it doesn't seem like it's next year or anything like that, but they're announcing that this character is coming to Overwatch 2. So is Overwatch 1 effectively dead? Like, are they not going to update it? Because they still have a goddamn league.
No, they're going to update it, but I want to say that there was even the game director did an interview at Blizzcon, or a little bit after the announcement, where he acknowledges that almost as soon as they announced Overwatch 2, like all... Not to say all interest, but like a lot of the interest, a lot of the hype that people have for the first one just went away.
Right.
Because now it's like, now we want the new stuff.
So it's...
they'll still have their league. They're still going to be doing their stuff. But because a lot of people saw, hey, there's a new one coming, just like with everything else, it's how do you why
play the old one?
Why play the old one where there's a new one coming?
So does that mean maybe this is closer than we think?
I don't know. I thought about that.
Because if the director acknowledges that, like, as soon as we do this, Overwatch 1 is effectively dead. That has to mean they knew that. Like if they knew that, then they had to have known that they wouldn't announce until then. Like, until they are like, the next update's just going to be Overwatch 2 or something.
Yeah. Because they also acknowledge that, for a while since they've been working on number 2, they've split the resources of, okay, half the team, so to speak, is working on number 2, and then they have teams working on the live game, doing, events and doing some other stuff. And then as soon as we announce number 2, like, we're going to have to move a lot more people from 1 to 2 because now we got to focus on 2. Now, what that means for the first game, I can see, like, other events still coming with different skins, but I just don't see any, like, new modes or any new maps that are not already part of number 2. Does that make sense? Like, if anything, I think updates for number 1 will slow down a lot. Not that they do a ton of updates to begin with, but there's enough. Every time there's events, there's the Halloween that happens every year. There's a Christmas event that happens every year, and there's some other ones that they'll do kind of annually. I could see those just kind of being it, or maybe not being super crazy like they've been in the past, just because everything is focused on
or they
number
could even
2.
just re-release some of the old stuff that they did for that. Because as soon they're like Disney in the way where, all right, after the holidays are over, we're putting in the vault. You ain't getting that.
If you didn't get it when it was out,
like, and honestly, with everything going forward to Overwatch 2, that would entice players probably to be like, oh, okay, well, back then I wasn't a Zen player. I was a Mercy player, so I got the Mercy skins. But now I want the Zen to go forward. So I wonder if that will...
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe their plan might be is because they announced everything that you get on 1 goes to number 2.
Right.
Hey, we're not really gonna do too much new stuff on number 1 at all. So just work, grind away at these other things.
The stuff
so then you're ready. That when number 2 comes out, you don't have to worry about the stuff from 1. Like, you already got it, so I move on to the next one. So
Yeah, that
we'll see. I'm excited. It was crazy. Like I can't believe. I felt a little bad that all of this stuff leaked.
Yeah,
before
I
it.
mean, really, Schreier was leaking this stuff months ago, saying that the latest iteration of a StarCraft shooter died, and something else died for Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 to live. So we kind of knew this was coming even before, but then the week before,
there was screenshots of like different marketing materials.
Someone described the trailer like almost verbatim, and
a lot of that stuff, which is, I mean, they kind of acknowledge, if you watch the if you watch the opening ceremony, they talked about how here it is announcing officially that this is out or that this is coming out.
This is real life.
Yeah,
guys.
this is the one. So it was cool. And then, I mean, then there's World of Warcraft. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone who loves World of Warcraft, I play a lot of World of Warcraft. I'm a little disappointed. I think with a lot of people were expecting a new
expansion,
a new class. There was an expansion called
Shadowlands.
Shadowlands.
An expansion?
Yeah.
Okay, I know nothing about WoW, and I just skipped.
There's a new WoW expansion. They said it's coming out next year for sure, like around summer next year, which is 2 years after the last one that came out. So they're on track. But there's no new class, and so for me, I'm like, maybe. I'm excited. They're doing some cool stuff. They're, even as someone who doesn't really play WoW, they're doing some stuff that are, I think, I won't say first in the industry, but they're like doing a level squish where instead of adding another level, they're removing half of the levels and bringing everyone back down to like level 60. Because right now the cap is 120, and every expansion basically they add 10 more levels. They're basically doing like, no, everyone's just going back down. The cap is going to be 60. And the other cool thing is between level 1 and 10, there's like a starting zone or whatever for new players. And then from 10 to 50, because the new expansion Shadowlands is 50 to 60, but between 10 and 50, you can basically pick any of the expansions and play that expansion as your level from 10 to 50. So you can experience the story of any one of the expansions. So you don't, because they acknowledge that nowadays it's, you keep leveling up and you get to like level 60, you go to, let's say, Burning Crusade. And by the time you're getting closer to 70 to go to the next expansion, you maybe have done one of the zones, like a third or a fourth of the main story of that expansion, and then you have enough experience to just move on. So they're like, people don't really go through the story anymore. It's just like trying to level up. And so instead it's like, hey, you pick whatever story you want, and you can always go back and do all this other stuff too, but you just pick it, go, you get to 50, move on to the new stuff, play the new stuff. So I'm excited. Maybe, as it comes out, I want to play, but definitely Diablo 4 for me is the one that I'm like, I cannot wait. They're doing some cool stuff. Reminds me a lot of Diablo 2, and as someone who's played a lot of Diablo in general, super excited for it. So,
okay, all right. Well, we'll be sure to look out for what Blizzard is doing in the future, of course, and what Activision in general is doing, even though they're separate but equal or whatever in their hierarchy over there.
I know it's weird.
But we have games now to talk about.
We do.
We do. I want you to kick it off with COD.
Okay. Hey, new Call of Duty game is out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it Call of Duty?
It's, yeah. You know what? Hey, they made a Call of Duty game.
Okay.
So I'll preface by saying I'm not a huge multiplayer guy, personally, as stated before. I've only dipped my toes into this multiplayer, but the little bit that I play, I did like it. I played through the story, the campaign. I really liked it.
Okay.
Really liked it.
So I want to touch on the multiplayer first, because that's what you mentioned. How would you compare it to the previous Modern Warfares? Obviously, they're the best in most opinions, but how much did you play the previous Modern Warfare?
Again, I didn't play that much. Like I play enough to kind of get a sense for it. So I play every Call of Duty when it comes out.
Yes.
Usually just play the story, and then I play the multiplayers for a little while, and get my butt handed to me.
Yeah, that's
like, okay.
exactly what I do. I get my ass kicked enough times. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need this anymore.
Hey, Call of Duty, I'll check back next year.
I hate myself enough. I don't need you to remind me that I suck.
What I liked about this one and what I liked about previous Modern Warfares was just that it's simpler to, I think, to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't have the jetpacks and the double jumps and the wall running of some of a Titanfall or even some previous Call of Duties.
Right.
Which can be a little, it's fun, but sometimes a little too technical for me. Of like, you know, you can wall run over here and then jump over here and then, you know, do a double jump or blah 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 and, you know, send your grappling hook and all this other stuff. That's sometimes a little much for me. But this one, no, just a modern military shooter, with the perks and with the leveling up and, you know, unlocking the different guns and stuff like that. I like it.
Okay.
You know, it's not as, it's super fast paced, and of course there's its, you know, issues that people can really speak to. You know, shotgun that can snipe you from across the map and all this other crap. But
sounds lovely.
You know, sounds like a Call of Duty game. But they're definitely working on it. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like taking the community feedback and working on some of the other stuff. So it looks gorgeous. Holy crap! Like one of the best looking Call of Duties I've ever played, or the best Call of Duty game I've ever played. Best looking. I really like the story. I have some issues with the story. You know, if we want to get into that.
Let's get into it a little bit. Yeah. What's your issue?
I think my biggest issue with the story, and it's not really. It's a spoiler for the beginning of the game, so I'm not gonna get into like any heavy spoiler. But it's just, I feel like almost I pick up in the middle of a movie. Like I feel like it just starts out of the blue. Like, there's terrorists. Oh my God, bad things happen. And now we're going after them. I'm like, but there's almost like no setup, I feel like. It just picks up from the bad thing that happens, and it goes from there.
Okay.
So, do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I do.
I can speak to it a little more, not be so vague of what I'm saying, but that first...
You're starting in episode 2 of a series.
Yes, that's how it feels like.
But no, episode 1, or even season 2. Like, something just happened, and it was big, and I'm in the middle of it, and you should care more at the point.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like there was either a intro cutscene or a mission before that I'm missing. Because it doesn't set up enough. It just all of a sudden, it really is, you know, this quick where the game starts and you're doing a mission to get this thing because something bad happened.
Okay.
And then it just, boom, other bad thing happened, and now it goes from there. And I'm like, well, why did I even get here? You know, like I'm starting in the middle of operation, and it just, but I don't know. It felt weird to me. That's all. You know, I don't know how you felt about it, but
I have not played the new Call of Duty.
What?
I wouldn't have had time to play it even if I bought it.
Well,
and also, COD is like Madden. It is going to be on sale soon.
Oh yes, absolutely, for sure.
I will get it for cheap in a couple of weeks, and I will be happy.
Don't let the stuff that I said like change your mind. If you like a good, hell, if you've played previous Call of Duty games and you enjoyed their story, I think this is one of the better ones.
So I have never played a Call of Duty story. I've never completed a Call of Duty story. I've always started them and said that's not why I'm here and went to multiplayer.
Okay, fair enough. This one's fairly short. It's like 6 hours, 7 hours or something. It looks great. There's some cool moments for sure. But yeah, like if you ever, whenever you get the game, if you just start the story, I feel like it just starts right. Like you said it perfectly. I'm starting on episode 2 of a show, and I feel like I've missed some stuff.
Okay.
If you like the previous Call of Duty game, like the previous Modern Warfare, if you've played any one of those, or if you have any interest in the story, if you know who Captain Price is or whatever, the way this one ends, it sets up. It's almost like, I think by the end of this, I would say that this is almost a prequel to the Modern Warfare, the Modern Warfare games. The way that this story plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but a case could be made as like this is not so much a reboot as almost a prequel to how the whole team gets together and how, Price gets the group together and things like that.
Okay.
So I'll
All
leave
right.
it at that.
All right, neat. Let's go to the opposite spectrum of shooters, PvZ.
So the other one, my actual favorite online shooter that I've played is the new Plants vs. Zombie Battle for the Neighborville, I think it's called, not Neighborhood.
No, of course not.
Because they got to do what they got to do. It's fun.
Is it?
Like, I really enjoy the Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare series because it's a slower pace online shooter.
Okay.
It's not first person, it's in third person, which I like that a lot. A lot of cosmetic, a lot of unlockables to change the way your character looks and the way the character plays even. But what I really like is that it slows it down. One of my biggest issues with Call of Duty is sometimes it can be so fast-paced, and as someone who's not very good, like me, you die super quick.
Right.
And so, like, you respawn, die. Okay. Respawn, run for a bit, die.
Spawn camping and all that other fun stuff. Yeah.
With this one, it's not like that. It's just you can hold your own. There's very few. Depending on the class that you play, you can get one-shotted or not by like a sniper. If you play some of the classes that have more hit points, that's just not the case. If you play some of the classes that, of course, don't have as many hit points, you can get one-shotted. But they added new classes to this. If you've ever played any of the Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare, like I think you'll like this.
Okay.
It's a little weird. There's like a story. There's like story modes. So there's quests that you can go in the world and they'll do. You do quests. There's, of course, the different, multiplayer modes that we've had in the past, include like the turf warfare or the, just Plants vs. Zombies, team kills and free-for-all and things like that. I liked it. I felt like it kind of came out of nowhere when it was originally announced.
Yeah.
Because it was announced. It was almost like announced, and it's like, hey, and also we're coming to early access. And it was on early access for about a month or so before it actually came out on disc. Yeah, there's a bunch of weirdness when it comes to the unlocks. A lot of stuff to grind if you want to do that. But overall, the best thing that I can say about this game is if you've played the previous one and if you liked it, or if you just want to try a different online shooter that's maybe a little kind of slower pace, give this one a shot. It is a really fun game. It was just a fun game. I've played most of it, and there's 10 classes on each side of the plants and the zombies. They're all super different. They all play different. It's just a ton of fun, but again, it gets overshadowed by the big online shooter. So
all right, and you had one more you wanted to talk about, right?
No, I think that's it. The only other one was I purchased a game, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Yeah, I bought Black Desert Online. If you're watching this, I think before the 22nd or the 16th. It's one of those. There's a PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, there's a sale going on. It's double discount for Plus, something like that. Yeah,
so
I've seen that one.
You can get, like, I got Black Desert Online for $15. Actually, there's my little PSA. You can get Mass Effect Andromeda, which I've never played, but I've always wanted to, plus Dragon Age Inquisition digital, both a bundle for like $15. Okay. So if you don't already have Dragon Age Inquisition, it's way worth the $15 for that, at least that one. So,
okay.
I think that's it. There's other games. I gotta, we're both getting copies of Death Stranding today.
Real quick, yes, Death Stranding is out. We are recording hours before we get to go play our copies.
Yeah, so we get to get our copies in a couple hours here. So we haven't had a chance to play, but next week when we record,
expect some Death and some Stranding.
We'll have some things to say about hitting a button to watch a grown man pee. That's gonna be the title of our review.
Hitting a button to watch a grown man pee. If that's the title,
That's right.
You can probably guess what we're gonna think about it if that's the title.
That's...
So yeah, I've been playing some stuff. I want to start at Smash Bros. I've been playing the new character Terry Bogard. This dude is crazy.
I hear that he is on Smash Brothers. That a lot of people are fans of him.
He is a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
Not only is he fun, the stage that he comes with is so much fun. It has the invisible walls. And so in order for you to get a character out, you have to get enough momentum on them to break the wall.
Oh, cool.
Like, his stage is just stupid fun. I haven't tested the way the screen looks. It almost looks like there's a ceiling as well. I haven't tested enough to know if you can just up smash someone out. But definitely the side smashes are a lot more difficult, and it's like this whole new mode to smash. Like, I absolutely love it. I'm a big fan. There is some stage controversy, of course. May is not in the game because she's a little bit too scantily clad. People are upset. I don't care enough about this franchise to know that she needs to be there that much. Some people are saying, oh, she's as important as Terry is.
I go as far as saying that she, outside of the three main characters from King of Fighters.
You're right. So
Terry,
Andy,
and Joe.
Okay, King of Fighters. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I was gonna say Geese, but he's Final Fight. So.
Well, I mean, he eventually, he also shows up on the King of Fighters, but like outside of those three, which Terry and Andy are brothers, and then Joe, I don't know his relationship, but Joe's also, he's the guy, the Muay Thai guy.
Okay.
Like those three are like the iconic King of Fighters characters, but I think she has, over the years, has kind of overtaken as almost anytime that I see anything like King of Fighters related, she's always in the mix.
Okay.
So it's almost, I think maybe my analogy would be Street Fighter, there's Ryu and Ken, and then she's Chun-Li.
Okay.
So super popular. She's always there, but it's almost like overtaking it a lot more. So.
I got you. You got to think about the position Nintendo is in with that. Of course. Though. Either they put her in the game and she's scantily clad, people are going to yell at them for being a kid's game with a scantily clad chick in there. If they redesign her costume, you make the hardcore fans upset that you altered their...
Yeah, you're putting in the character. If you put in the character not the way that she's supposed to be or how she appears on every other game and thing that she's in, then you're not putting her in.
And then the third option is what they did. Don't put her in the game and listen to everyone say, why isn't she in the game? Yeah. It was a lose-lose-lose situation for Nintendo. I think they probably took the right course of action.
I think so.
But still, like, I get it. I get that there are people upset. I'm not one of them, so I'm not about to go off on it. Terry as a character is almost broken. Like, he has some of the stuff that Ryu can do, where if you actually do inputs on attacks, that he will do a super version of it.
Okay.
And then when he hits 100% health, he can basically do ultra moves. And then, like, his specials are really good. He has a ground projectile, which is really hard to mess with because it's tall enough to take out some other projectiles as well. So it's a really good counter, and then if you're just on the ground and you're not countering it, you're going to get hit. Like, he has this just a ridiculous move set of specials in particular. But a lot of fun to play. I do enjoy him. I like his super. I like his style. I'm definitely going to dive in a little bit more on him for sure. I'm very excited to do that. He's cool. Man, Joker is still a DLC character, but man, I do like Terry quite a bit. He might be my favorite DLC so far.
I like that on Smash, that whenever they add a game that's from an actual fighting game, and what I mean by that is
Ryu, Ken.
Yeah. When they add those characters, that they're like, of course, like they're the fighters. It's almost like Smash is the amateur hour. And then they're bringing in the professionals in as from the actual fighting games, that they have their own move, they have their original move sets, or a lot of their, the movesets that you see in other games. So then it becomes this thing of like, yeah, it's crazy. I have, Terry, and I can do the moves, and he does the thing, he pounds the ground, and the shockwave goes, just like I do in King of Fighters, but now I'm also doing that against Mario,
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I am beating Cloud into oblivion. Yeah, but very, very
Cool.
good addition. Awesome addition. I was not excited for him, Like, I'm like, but Shovel Knight, Shovel Knight's the guy I want in the game most. That's my character that I'm stopping for because we're never getting Sora. So, I wasn't exactly thrilled with him, but now that I'm playing him and have hands on, I'm like, what, this is actually y'all are doing something. Y'all are doing something.
Yeah.
The other game I've been playing is Afterparty. So this is a night school. They did Oxenfree, I believe. They did. They've done some of these games. It's a story-based game. It's two friends. They find themselves in hell. They don't know why they went to hell. They don't know how they died. And it gets explained away in a hilarious way. Well, you know how you don't know anything about, when you were a baby or when you were in the womb or anything like that? Well, that's because your brain reorganized itself to deal with what was happening. Same thing here. You don't remember all of that unimportant stuff, like how you died and why you're here. But the gist of the game is you're two friends, you don't believe you belong there, you set out on a quest to outdrink Satan because that is the only way to go back to the earthly realm.
Okay, makes sense.
Satan every night throws a house party. Everyone in hell is invited, except the line to get in is super long, so you need a VIP pass. You go get the VIP pass, you go in, he tells you at first, no, go out, drink some of my other angels, and I'll see if I will toy with you. And that's basically where I'm at, is I've really just started the game that was pitched to me on this one. That beginning, though, I don't know. It's a very funny game. But it's not quite Telltale enough for me in that I'm still controlling the characters at all time. Like, I still have to move the characters, as opposed to Telltale. It'll be like, this is a cutscene, but you pick the responses. I need to pick the responses. I need to pick the drinks that change what responses you can make. Like, there's one that is, if you drink it, your responses become flirty. One of them is your responses become super aggressive. One turns you into sports bro. Like, there's different drinks that result in different responses. It's awesome.
Cool.
That's really cool. But that first part, it was grinding. I'm like, man, this is a little bit slow, and then I'm controlling the characters, but I wish it was almost just cutscenes, and the camera is pulled super far back, so I don't, like, you can barely really tell what the characters look like. And there's just a whole bunch of demons running around, and you don't know what makes them different. But it's great. You have a little demon that's following you around and is like making the characters relive their horrible pasts. And it's just so funny. It's a very funny game. I want to get further into it for sure. It's backburnered until Death Stranding's done, but
yeah,
I want to finish the game. I want to see where it goes. It's making me question whether or not I want these characters to get out of hell. But then the devil, Satan, when you ask him, hey, why are we here? His response is, there's a guy in Detroit who's about to take his wife to a movie, and when he gets home, they're going to have sex, and he's going to think about the actress. And then he's going to end up here, and he's going to ask me the exact same question you did. The question I'm going to ask you is, what did you do to not belong here? So I don't know exactly what these guys did, and if I find out what these two did, it's going to make me question whether or not I'm going to want to get them out or not.
Okay.
It's interesting, and it feels like that type of game that I will be able to kind of make that decision.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember, seeing some stuff about that game. I've always wanted to check it out. It's just, we say this every time. There's a lot of games. There's some
a lot of games
that,
and we are hours away from the hardest part of the year.
Yeah.
Like we say it every episode. Death Stranding, Star Wars, Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, those are the big three, and then hopefully, because there's some, we didn't touch on this, but I don't know if either one of us played it, but Luigi's Mansion came out.
Yeah, I'm just not a Luigi's Mansion guy.
Yeah,
But
I've been wanting to check it out. So maybe once we get some of these bigger ones out of the way, kind of touch on that. But yeah, kind of been almost a holding, like just kind of playing like little games here and there, just to kind of get it out of the way because who knows anything about Death Stranding nowadays. So yeah. I'm hoping by next week we'll have
out, and the game it's not out, but it has been reviewed, and I understand less about it than I did before.
Exactly. And I think I've said this last time too. Of the more I see it, the less I know about it. Mm-hmm. I'm eager to try it out and see.
The less I'm getting to care about it too.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting. You'll obviously our next episode is going to be a Death Stranding.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that. So,
but I'm curious how I'm going to respond to it because the number one thing that people are saying to me, oh man, 10 hours in it gets real good. No, that is half a day almost.
Yeah, I'm not down with those games anymore. You just got to play like. Even if the game does get really, really good, like that's a lot to ask of a player. Like here, just kind of go through this garbage first. Maybe garbage is a strong word, but like go through the stuff that maybe is not as fun for an hour, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours before you even get to before the game opens up and it actually gets to what the fun part is. Like that's a lot.
I don't know how many times someone has told me, man, okay, just get through the first season of the show. Okay, how many episodes is it? 24. And how long are those? An hour? No.
That's a lot to ask before. Yeah. I hear you because I've done that with TV shows. I've given it watch the first few episodes or watch an entire season. I'm like, the show's just not for me. No. So hope this game's not like that. I'm going in with the mindset of trying to be pleasantly surprised because right now I don't know. Not that I even have a high or low expectation. I have no expectation of this game.
I don't know what I'm about to go through.
We'll see.
I don't know what I'm going to come out the other side like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So check back next week for that.
Yes.
For sure.
Hey, motivation to watch again.
Yeah.
How about that? While you're here, please go ahead, give us a like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for the notification, all that stuff that the YouTubers tell you because it actually apparently works.
It does. It do.
It do, indeed. So until next time when we have Death Stranding, I'm Kenny.
I'm Felipe.
Later.